I'm going to tell you a secret, but you're going to be shocked when you hear me say this. Now, I don't mean it exactly the way I'm going to say it, but we get caught up on racism and bias, and it's important, but it's not as important as you think it is. It slows us down, and it does stop us, and it does put a ceiling on things, but it's really important in these situations that you empower yourself, that you make a stand, that you overcome. It's important that you make that step. It's important that collectively you work with others to make a stand. And they're doing it all over this nation, wherever you are. People are collectively making a stand against it. Because it's ugly. I understand. But it's about power. It's about self-power. I've seen it over and over in people who have self-power, who are powerful, and they make the stand on an individual basis. They speak on an individual basis. They win on an individual basis, and they lose on an individual basis. But they also do it collectively. There's other people like you, all cultures, all people, all genders, who are making that stand, who don't agree with it, who don't like it. I mean, it can be a powerful situation on an individual basis, but you make that stand on an individual basis, or you walk away on an individual basis. You have choices. You're a powerful individual. You have a beautiful life. The fact that you exist is beautiful. I don't care if you're suffering. We all suffer. I don't care if you don't like it. We all got to do things that we don't like. So facing it, yeah, we don't like it. Facing it, it could be ugly. Facing it can be overwhelming. But you just make sure that you face it. You face it, but you also build upon yourself. See, racism and bias hurts us most when we don't have a sense of self, when we don't know who we are. When you don't know who you are and you face it, you are defeated. You are defeated at racism. You're defeated at bias on the individual level. You're defeated. You don't even know or think that you can overcome it. But if you have a sense of self, a foundation of self, you understand that racism or bias is out there, but you are still strong in self. You'll still fight it, but you don't lose yourself. Somebody can tell you in a biased situation or a racist situation that you are a certain way. And if you don't have that sense of self, you'll be trying to prove to them and defend who you are in this situation, that you matter. But you should already know that you matter. It's not that you're defending how important you are. You already know you're important. You're just defending the situation. I'm in this biased situation. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm in this racist situation. I'm not going to agree with it. That's what it's about. And other people across this nation agree with you, will stand with you. And even if they don't, stand alone. Stand alone. And you can do it when you have a sense of self. But if you don't have a sense of self, you'll fall every time. You'll fall every time to a bias or a racist situation, or if somebody doesn't like you or whatever. You'll fall every time. So you got to build up yourself somehow. Somehow. It's your journey. So you figure out how to build up your sense of self. Sometimes it's just going through experiences and learn about yourself. Sometimes it's reading. Sometimes it's counseling. Whatever it is, self-discovery, figure that out. It's so important in this situation, because you're always going to be in a situation where people don't like you. You're always going to have to do things that you don't want to do. I don't like fighting bias. I don't like fighting racism. But for me, like bias and racism, there's no difference than if somebody don't like you. If somebody doesn't like you, it doesn't matter what their reason is. You have to have a sense of self just to overcome it. Like, what do you do when somebody doesn't like you? I don't know what you do, but I'm just saying, if you have a strong sense of self and somebody doesn't like you, what do? How do you handle it? Do you crumble? No, you don't crumble. And it's the same in a bias or a racist situation. You don't crumble. You don't fall. You don't fold up. You don't give up. You keep going. You figure it out. And you can do it in a sense of self. But like I said, the foundation, you have to have that foundation. And when you have that foundation, you always fall back on your foundation. Even though I'm hurt, even though they got me a little bit or whatever that situation is, I still am good with who I am. That's the difference. But if you're not good with who you are, if you don't know who you are, and a lot of us don't, then yeah, you're going to just be overwhelmed and wrecked by bias and racism.